This is episode 45. Normally it's called Wayne's World and Kelly, but today we have a new name. And what is it, Ben? Ben Friedman. What's the new name today?
Wayne's World and Kelly with your special guest, Ben Friedman and Nash.
We're having a Nash Fest. So let me do this real quick. So first, I got a couple announcements, three of them. Today is National Flag Day, so we're honoring National Flag Day with me with my flag shirt. I know there's some question on if you're supposed to wear it as clothing, and I'm a purist on that stuff. But you know what? I think any way we can decorate our awesome country, we want to do it. So happy Flag Day, and welcome Nash. Oh, and Ben. Also, on the 19th, and we'll talk a little bit more, is at the Man Cave and Plantation. Ben Friedman and Kelly Coon and Wayne, if he can be in town, and several others are going to be celebrating National, Men's Health Month. And there's actually going to be some guys from the South Florida Thunder, the indoor football team there. It's put on by our friend Michelle Hastings, and it's going to be a great event. And also, Nash, Nash, can we get you on camera? What's your favorite baseball team?
The Mets.
And how many times have they won the World Series?
Twice.
Right. And the first time was in 1969, right?
And who did they beat?
Can you don't
remember.
They actually beat the Minnesota Twins.
Yeah, but everybody beats the Minnesota Twins. I mean,
not in 1986 or 91.
No, I believe in 1986, if my memory serves me correctly.
It was the Mets.
Was the second time that the Mets won the World Series.
Yep.
So
Twins won in 87.
So,
but anyway.
Nash, I got a gift for your dad because I know he's a big Mets fan too. So have you ever heard of a man called Ed Kranepool? He was the first baseman for the team, right? For the Mets. Played 17 years, longest guy ever to play on the team. And I got your dad an autographed baseball by Ed Kranepool, World Series Championship 1969. Never given a gift on the show before, but how cool is that, huh?
That's awesome.
If you want to steal it from your dad, but so we can go back to we can slide back.
That's very cool. Thank you.
Do you like that? Did you see it? Is how cool?
I like that a lot.
Listen, I knew you were a Mets fan. I'm a Nats fan. Used to be. Now I'm not so much. But because of that, I said I got to get something for the show. Last week I grew a goatee for Bob Coy. This week I got an autographed baseball for my buddy Ben Friedman of CitiQuiet Glass. And today we're going to talk a lot about how Ben is balancing work-life balance, and he's showing it right now because he's waiting to take his son to baseball camp after a busy day. So Ben, tell us a little bit about Ben Friedman.
Well, first I want to say that it is truly an honor to be a guest here on Wayne's World and Kelly. Kelly and I have grown our friendship over these past few years. Really awesome. And I'm thankful for that. And, it's funny because whenever Kelly calls me or sends me a text, I'm always like, wow, this could be the day. This could be the day that I get asked to be on the show. And unfortunately, it's always like, hey, how about those Mets? Or, hey, are you going to that networking event? But the other day I got the call and I just was really, really happy and proud that our friendship has grown to where it's been and that I was asked to come on the show and to talk about Wayne for a second. I had the pleasure of being with Wayne a few weeks ago in Texas, and we spent some time together over lunch, and Wayne's a really great person as well. And I'm glad that you guys have decided to do this together because it's really awesome. And I tune in every week. So it's awesome.
We all those other people ahead of you, they were just test runs to make sure we had all the technical stuff right. But now that we've got everything so fine tuned, it's time to bring you on. But I hope this isn't going to be a theme because, Greg from Best Roofing was giving me a hard time about being the 43rd guest. So, but at least you and I go golfing together. So at least I can't bust your chops on that. But no, we're
Right.
excited to have you on the show. You are definitely, all kidding aside, you are one of the favorites in business in South Florida. You support the industry that we're all in extremely well, and you don't do it for any other reason. You're a good guy. I mean, you know, you are a businessman, and you do a great job with your business. But you're always, I've never heard you say no to anything. You support everything. You're actively involved, but you're also one of the first things out of your mouth is conversations about your family, you know, and you have 2 boys that play baseball, and you know, so that's going to, you know, our lives when we have our kids when they're young. Now, my daughter's quite old. Wayne just sent his daughter off. I mean, his son off to college, and now here you are. You're in the, what are they, 10 and 12?
Yeah. So Nash is 12, and we have the pleasure actually of leaving 1 week from yesterday to go to Cooperstown for a baseball
Nice.
tournament that he was invited to play in, which is a national baseball tournament for 12-year-olds only.
Right.
So he's 12 and going into 7th grade, and Gray is 9 and he's going into 4th grade, and he's a little baller himself.
He seems like he's 10 when I talk to him.
He seems
So,
like he's 10.
he's 10, but
Yeah,
he's only 9.
well, he
Yeah.
acts like he's 16,
Right.
but you know, he still asks Heather and I, you know, to read him a book before bed and to lay with him. So he's still
Nice.
got that baby
Yep.
that baby stuff going on.
You gotta love that. You know, that's the best.
Yeah. So yeah, both boys play a ton of baseball. It's 7 days a week between the 2 of them. If it's not a practice, it's a game. If it's not a game, it's a lesson. If it's not a game or a lesson, it's wanting to have a catch and go to the cages. So they truly have a passion for it. I'm, you know, so happy that they picked a sport that they can play all year round here in Florida. And it's a team sport. So I'm big on being a team player. You know, baseball is a game of failures. So not one person is going to win or lose a game for you. And it's a lot, but it's great. And it's a juggle for, you know, as you said, for personal and for business life, because as you both know, you know, there's an event or a happy hour or some sort of golf outing or fishing tournament any day of the week, whether
Right.
it's an association or whether it's a group of vendors that come together, decide to host some managers or board members. So it's a battle, man. You know, last year I did a lot of them personally, and I did them with 2 of my business development young ladies that I've now kind of set free to go and do many of them on their own, because I want to be around for baseball, and I have FOMO when I'm not there. So I pick and choose the ones that I personally want to be at, that I feel it's necessary that I'm at, and the others I just set them free and let them go.
Hey, Ben, have you ever watched Field of Dreams with your sons?
I have not.
Okay, you're definitely going to want to watch that with your sons. It's an incredible movie with Kevin Costner. I don't know if you've heard about it, but
I've watched the movie, but not with them.
yeah. Okay, so my dad was my Little League coach, and just even talking about this right now, I'm glad I'm wearing my sunglasses, because you know there's that part in the movie that I'm not going to give away, but wow, it was so real to me.
It's a great
Baseball was
great movie.
Yeah, baseball was such a central part of my life, with my father, and to be able to be on that journey with him just during the Little League years was fantastic. And he was always at my games and everything. So yeah, definitely watch that with your boys. I think that they would both love the movie.
I will. Thank you. Yeah. And, you know, as you said, your father used to coach. I used to coach both of them. And at one point, when my wife and I both agreed to kind of set them free, I just stepped away and I became a dad in the bleachers because
Right.
I can only teach them so much. They're only going to listen to me so much.
Right.
And maybe we'll have a guest appearance here in a minute from his coach, who's probably going to approach my car. They're professional baseball players that either played in the league, have a family member that played in the league, and they know kids and they know how to coach them and they know the game better than anybody else. So, you know, I'm a dad at this point, and I cheer for them, and it's great.
Dre
Right on.
told me 2 years ago that his skill level had exceeded your ability to teach. So
Yeah. It's
I went through that with my daughter in soccer because I was a competitive soccer player, and I kept getting pulled into coach, and I'm like, I want to be a dad. And I think it's a little bit more difficult to sit back, but it's such a better place to be for both you and for the kids.
It is. It's difficult because there are times when I wish I can instruct, but I'll tell you, at the level of baseball that they play, the coaches make it very clear that, you know, if you're going to be in the bleachers and you're going to come and watch your kids play, you know, cheer them on all you want. But the second you start coaching your kids from the bleachers is the second that I stop coaching them from the field. So, you know, they lay the
coaching.
Yeah, they lay the groundwork. They don't want you talking to your kids or anything. And it's great. You know, I'm very thankful. Both of the teams that they play on play at a very high level, and it's great.
And they love it. It's not like they're being forced to do it. It's a
day they tell me, yeah, the day that they tell me that they're done with it is the day that I say no problem. But it's great, and I'll go back to something that really ties back into both business and family. It's a team game, right? So you're one player on a field of 9, and your job, if you're the pitcher, is to throw a strike. And if you're the hitter, your job is to hit the baseball, right? And if you're the fielder, your job is to make the play. So if everybody does those things, you know, that team can succeed. And it's no different in business, and it's no different at home, right? I mean, you know, my wife and I are a team, and we get pulled in different directions sometimes. One kid has a baseball tournament in Miami. 2 weeks ago, the other kid has a baseball tournament in Daytona. So, you know, I'm going to a hotel for 2 nights, and she's driving to West Miami for games at 8, 9 o'clock at night. So it's a team thing. And in life, you know, you got to surround yourself with your key players and create your team and roll with it.
Right.
You know, Ben, one of the things that I was so grateful that you hit me up when you were at National in Dallas, and to invite me out to lunch. I think I told Kelly this right away. I said, I can really understand why you're really tight with this guy. Man, I don't even know where to begin with you. We could have a whole hour just on, you know, business and what you've built, and, you know, how you made the transition from New York, you know, down to Florida, and the team concept and just everything. Man, you got it going on. And wow, I just want to give you props on what you've built and are continuing to build in your team, because you are definitely making an impact in the market.
Thank you.
Ben gives it 100% on everything he does. He married way out of his league, because the first time I met Heather, I'm like, how is this even possible? You know, but hey,
do you remember? So first of all, thank you. And second of all, do you remember the first time that you met Heather?
100%. So tell the story, because it's absolutely hysterical. And look, just to prove the story, I still carry my driver's license.
So quick story, because this is about me today, not about you. But quick story is this was
about Wayne.
2 years ago. This was 2 years ago, and a couple of weeks before an event that CAI put on, I'm sitting on my sofa and I'm getting text messages, you know, at 8:30, 9 o'clock at night from Kelly, and my phone's blowing up. So I think nothing of it. I look at the text, I respond to the text. no problem. I get a reply back. My phone's on alert. It's not on silent. It's Kelly. Sitting next to Heather, and Heather says to me, "It's 9 o'clock at night. Who is Kelly?" And I said, he's become a really good friend of mine, and one day you'll meet him. And the response was, him?
Right.
And I said, yes, Kelly is a him. Okay, whatever. Now 2 weeks goes by. We go to this event in Delray. And it was the night before my kids were leaving for camp for the summer, because they go to camp for 7 weeks in Pennsylvania. And I said, hey guys, I have this great event that I'm going to, and it's at a really cool place. Why don't you guys meet us there? Towards the end of it, we'll all have dinner together. So they show up, and I pull Heather aside, and I said, Heather, I want you to meet Kelly. Now, I don't know what's going through her mind at this point. And I bring her over to Mr. Kuhn, and I said, Heather, meet Kelly. And Kelly pulls out his driver's license and puts it in front of Heather's face like that and says, do you know how many times this card has gotten the person on the other end out of jail? And that was the first time that Kelly met Heather.
Yeah. And since then, we've become wonderful friends. I love her to death. She's she's just a great person. And she's just an absolute doll. And I know why y'all fell in love with each other, because you're two awesome people. So, and you're producing two great young men, which is very cool. So, what is it? You show me your friends, I'll show you your future. And I guess it also applies to spouses, hopefully. But, that's, you connect with all the right people. And I think that's something that we all share in, is we're very careful on who we spend our time with, whether it's, in business or in our free time, or, for us, both. I guess our business is our life and our families are our life. So I just think it's great. And I do want to mention a couple things about Men's Health. Rockin Wellness, a great supporter of the company, and Callaway Blue Water. If you tell the boys to drink a lot of water, they should drink 5 to 7 glasses at their age every day, especially when they're out there on the field. And let's not forget Callaway Golf. Great company, not helping my game, but they're trying. I appreciate them. And we always have to mention, who's one of our favorite women in South Florida when it comes to business?
Anybody I have mine.
Who's yours?
Who do you think?
No, I want to say, who's yours?
My wife.
Oh my golly, no. Come on, go ahead, Wayne.
Dawn Miller.
Dawn Miller, the paving lady. We're just being a little silly at the end.
She was my second answer.
Yeah, but it's just, you get these little running jokes, and I just want to squeeze them in any way we can. But Men's Health.
I've been talking about Dawn. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I don't know. I hope that she's listening to this, because she's a busy lady, man. I have been reaching out to her for 2 or 3 weeks, inviting her fishing. I try to go fishing once every other Friday on our boat, bring some clients or bring some vendor relationships. Man, she's declined me so many times. And I'm like, is it something about me or what's going on? And you know where she is when I invite her? She's at a fishing tournament. Yeah. And I'm like, well, what the heck? You don't invite me. I've been asking you for 3 weeks in a row.
That's a good point. She never invites us, but she's always out there fishing. You invite me all the time, so I appreciate that. Maybe we ought to reconsider our friendship with her. She is going to Israel with her mother next week. So maybe she'll come on as a guest and tell us about her trip to Israel. So
she'll never come on, dude. I've tried her so many times. And she just said, that's really not my deal. She said she loves to watch, but, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I got to give a shout out to my high school buddy, Dave Kincaid. He retired after 26 years being in IT back in my hometown of Eau Claire, Wisconsin. He watches all the time. David, good luck to you. And, look, Ben, I know you're probably bumping up against the clock. Real quick one. I don't know if I asked you this when we were at lunch, but can you explain in like maybe 30 seconds to a minute, a lot of the big differences that you had when you moved from New York City to the Miami, Fort Lauderdale area, where you're at? Because I know there's a story there.
Yeah, so 30 seconds is asking a lot, but
Who was your neighbor
I'll
when you
jump.
lived in Long Island?
That's another great question. So this is going to take more than 30 seconds,
Squeeze
but
it all
my
in.
across the street neighbor was Amy Fisher.
Come on, dude.
Joey Buttafuoco story
That
right
is
here on
strong.
Wayne's World, and Kelly and Ben.
And sharp knives.
And when
Wow.
and when the
No, she
and
was
when
a
it all
gun.
went down, yeah, and when it all went down and it was in the media, the news reporters used to camp out with tents on my front lawn because she was my direct across the street neighbor.
Dude, that is strong. I
And Ben
love
sold
that.
them
I love
Kool-Aid,
that.
right? You had a Kool-Aid stand. You were selling drinks, marked up the
Yeah.
price.
Absolutely.
So you're in business up
Um,
in New York. I I had to mention that. That's a pretty cool Amy Fisher.
yeah. Yeah. So, you know what, Wayne's question is, what are the big differences? The biggest difference originally was family, right? My parents lived in my hometown where I grew up in Merrick, Long Island, and I didn't have them here in Florida. My sister was in college or graduating college. So I didn't have her. But I had my wife, and I also had one of her two sisters and her sister's husband, my brother-in-law, Michael. And those were our people. And that started what we now call our wolf pack, because her younger sister then followed everyone down. And if you can believe this, Wayne, because I know Kelly knows it,
This is
Heather's
cool.
two sisters are my next door neighbors in a cul-de-sac of about 6 homes. 3 of them belong to our family, and it's wild. It's
Wow.
nuts. It's
I love that.
so I'm very, very fortunate to have what we call our wolf pack, of our 3 families here. My parents now live here as well, so that was easy as well. They wanted to be with their grandkids. And my sister lives on Long Island where we grew up. She just moved out of the city and moved out to Long Island and is starting a family there. So big shout out to her and a congrats. And that was the big thing, right? I didn't have family. I grew up in New York. Your people are your people. Your boys are your boys. And I didn't have any of my boys here in Florida. And someone once said to me a simple thing, which was, your best friends for the rest of your life, you haven't even met yet.
Right. Wow,
And
that's
you
good.
will meet them through school, through your kids' school, and you'll meet them through your kids' after school activities like baseball and through business. And some of my closest friends are people that I did not know when I moved to Florida in 2006 or 2007. So, that was a big change, and fortunately that worked out. I convinced people to be my friend, which is crazy.
It's not from you letting them win at golf, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Ben was beating me so bad one day, he says, I'm going to take my shoes off and I'm still going to continue to beat you in my bare feet. And he did.
That's awesome.
The guy's got game. His swing is absolutely amazing. Remember when we saw Zoe?
We saw Zoe, and remember how nice
good his
Zoe
golf swing
was to
was?
us. Yes.
So what's Zoe's real name?
Alonzo.
Morning. Formerly the Heat.
Soldier.
So this guy's dressed like $1 million. He's got the nicest set of golf clubs you've ever seen. Tiger's going, oh, there's a nice set of golf clubs. So Ben, you're the one that took the video out and filmed it. He's playing in a tournament ahead of us after he barely took a picture with us. So, hey, Zoe, be nicer to people, okay? So it's a kids event. We donated a fortune to be in the tournament. And so Ben pulls out his camera to videotape this guy hitting it. This guy's a, world champion athlete. His swing was 10 times worse than mine. The ball goes like 80 yards. It was priceless. We laughed. He turned around. We kept laughing. So that's the
Yeah.
that was another great memory we had. But I mean, that's all. just
Remember
because
the
I-
time?
Huh?
Remember the time on the golf course when you got super close to a gator and then the gator turned around and looked you dead in the eyes and you ran for the hills?
Like a little, I like a track star is what I ran like, right?
Yes.
It was pretty funny. I was a little scared.
Well, the only
I have that on
person,
video.
the only
And
person
I also
that
did
you
not
need
say
to,
a bad word as I was running and turning my ankle to get away from him.
the only person that
I
you
have
need
that
to
on
beat is
video.
Ben. The only person you need to beat in that race is Ben.
Yes.
Ben just sitting
This
there
is all
filming,
true.
laughing as this gator's coming after me. It was pretty good. So,
That's awesome.
oh my gosh. Well, we are
Yeah.
out of time. Have we hit all of our sponsors? Nouveau Elevator. Let's give them a little shout out. We'd like to give a shout out to WRG, LGC, Becker Lawyers, M2E. We got sponsors. Wazoo. It's great. But CitiQuiet Glass for all your glass needs in South Florida. Ben's the man to call, and he does have time for you. The guy somehow, he might be a twin. I don't know, because he seems to be everywhere. People tell me I'm all over the place. Ben, okay, so one more little closing thing. I'm playing golf with Ben and Mike Poe and who was the third person we were playing, or the fourth person we were playing with?
Was it one of his guys?
No. I love the guy. His Errol.
Oh,
So the four of us are golfing, and we're having just a great time. And it just really, it's just four good guys having a great time, talking business, talking family, da 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 da. I look over and I realize I'm old enough to be all three of their dads. I'm like, holy! They're like, oh, I'm 37, I'm 38, I'm 39. I'm like, I'm 59, you freaking pieces. No, but it was incredible to make that realization, that these men, these very well-established men are old enough to be my kids, but great guys, all of you.
well, I'm gonna be 40 in October, so I'm hoping you're planning me a party.
I've already started. It's
Thank you.
it's gonna be huge. Yeah, it's 40.
Perfect.
Yeah, Heather and I are gonna get together a lot between now and then, planning.
Hey now.
Listen, we better get off. Let everybody get to their day. It's been an absolute blast having you, Ben.
Guys, thank you so much, Kelly. It's an honor and a pleasure. Wayne, I look forward to seeing you soon. Hopefully in a couple of weeks, you'll be here in South Florida when I'm back from Cooperstown. And Kelly, you know how much I love you, and thank you very much for having me.
Appreciate it,
Thanks
brother.
for
A
having
big
your
shout out
son
to
on
Ed
too.
Cranepole and his wife, Monica.
Mrs. Cranepool.
Monica, super wonderful couple. Thanks for the ball, because that was nice, and thanks Michelle Kidwell for getting it for us, because I know people. Okay, guys, have a wonderful day. Everybody
Thank
out
you.
there, we'll see you next week for another exciting show of Wayne's World. Kelly without Ben.
Adios.
Bye-bye.